Hello friends, let us now learn some important points about the production of X-rays. So in the last class we have just learned some introduction points. Right now let us learn some important points about how the X-rays are produced. So the diagnostic X-rays are actually produced when an electron is suddenly stopped by the target anode. When the electron or when the flowing electron is suddenly stopped or decelerated by a target anode in an X-ray tube, a diagnostic X-ray is produced. So first, an X-ray tube is actually made up of a Pyrex glass. So this is Pyrex glass. The X-ray tube is made up of a Pyrex glass, and inside the Pyrex glass there are two electrodes. The first electrode is called as cathode. The other electrode is called as anode. So when both these are connected to a high potential difference. So when a high potential difference or electricity is applied between a cathode and anode, electrons are produced from the cathode and they are flow towards the anode. When they flow towards the anode, these electrons are stopped or bombarded by the anode. So when they are stopped by the anode, electrons are moving with a high velocity. So these electrons have increased velocity, high velocity. When high velocity electrons are suddenly decelerated at the anode, so this energy is produced as X-rays. When the electrons are accelerated across the tube, and these electrons, when they hit the anode, that is where the X-rays are produced. So let us now learn some important points about the X-ray tube. We'll see each part of the X-ray tube. First, if we see the glass enclosure. Glass enclosure is important to seal the two electrodes, that is the cathode and the anode. So imagine that there is some gas is present inside the tube. If there is gas present inside the tube, the electrons from the cathode, when they are accelerated towards the anode, so the electrons will collide with the gas molecules. So if an electrode collides with the gas molecules, it loses energy. So when the electron collides with the gas molecules, it loses energy. So think that this is an electron with some energy 100. It has collided with the first gas molecule, this one. So this it has lost to 10 energy, so it becomes 90. Again it has collided to one more electron, then its energy has become 80. It has collided with other one, then it has become 70. Like that, when it has collided a multiple number of electrons and once it has reached anode, it has obviously lost a significant amount of energy, almost 40 amount of energy is lost. So as a result, the amount of the X-rays which are produced will not be stronger, there will be weaker X-rays are produced. So as a result, the energy of X-rays and the number of X-rays um, will be varied because of the bombardment of electrons with the gases. When the electrons collide with the gas molecules, because they lose energy, so the amount of energy which is produced by the X-rays, energy and number of X-rays which are produced will be varied. That means if this electron collides with the gas molecules for almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, 4 times, so it has lost energy 4 times and the energy of X-rays will be 60. For example, this electron will go directly without colliding the gas molecules, then the energy will be 100. If these electrons collide with even more number of gas molecules, then this energy will be even more less. So there is wide variation of X-rays, energy of X-rays which is produced by these at the anode when the electrons collide with the gas molecules. So we do not want this gas inside the gas enclosure or X-ray tube. So because we do not want the gas or inside the X-ray tube, so the gas is removed from the X-ray tube and a vacuum is created between the X-ray tube. So the main important thing is gas enclosure will contain vacuum. There will not be any gas inside the glass enclosure. Then the cathode. So This is cathode, this is anode, and this is the X-ray tube. So the X-ray tube and the cathode or anode are in contact at a certain point. So the connecting wires of the cathode, so if you see, the connecting wires of the cathode are sealed into the glass wall of the X-ray tube. So if you heat the cathode, along with cathode, even the glass also starts to heat, because cathode is made up of metal. Metals will conduct electricity or heat. So when we heat the cathode, along with cathode, even this glass starts to heat. So there is something called as coefficient of expansion. Coefficient of expansion is how the metals heat become heated. How the metals are heated. So if you see, coefficient of expansion is, so if you see two different metals, metal 1 and metal 2 will have different coefficient of expansions. That means if you heat 100 degrees Celsius, metal 8, metal 1 to 100 degrees Celsius, it might expand 5%, whereas if you heat metal 2 with the same 100 degrees Celsius, then it might expand more, that is 10%. So this is the coefficient of expansion. That means how much the metal expands when it is heated. So the coefficient of expansion for the X-ray tube and the tungsten filament is different. So as a result, because of the difference in coefficient of expansion, they both expand at different values. So as a result, this seal or this contact between the wire and the X-ray tube will break, and when it breaks, the system will break down, like we can't use it again. So because to prevent the breakage of the X-ray tube and the cathode, so when it breaks, air will enter in, and if air enters in, we know that the X-rays are not produced uniformly, they'll be produced at different energies. So to prevent the uh, break, or to prevent the breakage of X-ray tube at the wire contact, we use special alloys instead of Pyrex glass. We use special alloys which will have similar coefficient of expansion as that of Pyrex glass. So the cathode and anode are made up of special alloys, and those alloys will have similar coefficient of expansion as that of this Pyrex glass. So if they have similar coefficient of expansion, then the Pyrex glass and the cathode can expand similarly. So as a result, there won't be any breakage between the Pyrex glass and the cathode. Thank you. In the next class, we will learn about the cathode. Thank you.